A2theK.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show, where we're talking Extreme Rules, reactions, and review.
Welcome to Old Men with Sore Necks. Huh?
Hi. Yeah, we're still getting used to this lived in, together in a studio format.
Yeah.
You know, we're so used to just slouching down on a couch.
I'm usually
somewhere.
on a couch, yeah.
Yeah.
Feet up, reclined, all that, you know.
Don't get none of this anymore.
It's behind the scenes stuff you don't know. I've got to sit properly now.
I know, proper announcer desk and everything here. Proper, ridiculous setup. But that's what
I do
we put ourselves
because we can actually see ourselves while we're recording, and the little announce table in front of us. I feel like shouting it to slobber knocker.
By God, it's extreme. He broke him in half. That man had a family. But
I love how we both go to the same place when it comes to commentating.
Yeah, we could have went anywhere, but it's JR. It's only ever JR.
Legend of
so
JR.
let's kick things off, shall we? And talk about Extreme Rules, and the first match of the night was a good old fashioned Donnybrook match.
Donnybrook.
Donnybrook. I don't know. It's
okay.
Not as sexy as Kelly Brook though.
Oof, no.
I mean, close.
You're right about that. I mean, would you prefer the Donnybrook or would you rather have had a Kelly Brook?
Oh, Kelly Brook. Yeah.
As far as matches go, I was pleasantly surprised. Well, not pleasantly. That sounds like I was expecting it not to be good. I was expecting it to be good.
After banger after banger.
Sorry, what?
I thought that was Kelly Brook.
I wasn't expecting it to be a bad match. So when I say pleasantly surprised, that's not a negative. But again, it was. I don't know how to explain it. It was better. I thought it was going to be good, and it was better than I thought. It's the best way I could put it. Do you know what I mean? It was a hell of a match.
I don't know. It was a shameful thing. Lobster head. No, it was a
lobster head.
It was definitely the right match to kick off with. I think because it had less at stake, but you knew it was going to just be absolutely brutal and a hell of a good time, and exactly what happened. And I think
I'm honestly sold on this faction even more so now as well.
Do you think it's weird though that they're now face? Like, they just kind of happened overnight.
I think because they can't deny the absolute year that Sheamus is having. People just can't they can't not like the guy because he's just having a fucking boss match after boss match.
Which is mad to think. A couple of years ago, people couldn't stand him. Like, it was like X-Pac heat level. It wasn't because he was a bad guy. People just fucking hated Sheamus.
Fair play to him. He's gone, you know what? I'm just going to keep coming in week after week, having a hell of a match. And eventually they'll fucking see it. And they fucking did.
They definitely have. But fair play. We're getting to... I'm so happy that Pete Dunne isn't, Scrappy Doo anymore as such. Like, he can be Pete Dunne.
I think all three of them are, legit in the... That's why I love the faction even more now, because I feel like it's less, silly with the whole Butch thing. It's no, all three of them are fucking lethal and a hell of a group.
Yeah, no, definitely. I made up as well that despite what happened to Big E, the fans aren't, getting on his back as well. Like, he's been allowed to forgetting his name, which is why I'm Ridge Holland. The fans are actually cheering for him and stuff, and he's doing incredible feats of strength. Like, he picked up all three of them at one point, I think, in this match. I
think it's fair, because it was a freak accident, Yeah. So you can't I know sometimes as an audience we can be like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's unsafe, but it was a freak accident.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I think a lot of times though, fans can be fickle and be like, no, I'm never going to cheer you. But
no.
I made up that obviously he's getting a good reaction as well. But yeah, it was it's fascinating what they're doing with Gunther though, isn't it? Like, even though he wasn't the one that got pinned, like he's only been pinned twice or something in his whole career. And obviously on SmackDown when they had the match for the IC title, he tapped. But it was like the Brazil tap, they call it, don't they, where he tapped twice, but it wasn't actually you have to tap 3 times, or you have to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's well, no, it wasn't, but yeah, it's interesting. I feel like this still isn't done with, though.
No, I don't think it is. I think there's going to be another title match between him and Sheamus to settle this. I really do.
Has he ever had the IC title, Sheamus? Or is this the title he needs to be a Grand Slam?
He might have had the US, So I think he might need the IC.
I'm pretty sure he's if he wins this, he finally becomes a Grand Slam champ. Which would be very good.
And I think that's the right call. I think it's almost like a recognition of the year he's had.
Yeah, but I think these two being these two teams have been putting on fantastic kind of matches and stuff. But it's interesting to see where they're going to go off the back of this. I think they are going to continue it because there's nowhere for them to really go. at the moment, like, what other factions can they feud with? There's only New Day, but there's only 2 of them.
We're introducing loads now.
Well,
don't worry about
that. That's a very good point. But yeah, I think it was a great match to start the show, and yeah, the right guys won, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
So, don't think the right person won in this one. I'm keen to get your thoughts. Obviously, no surprise.
Disappointed. I'm so fucking. I said in the predictions, this will be the one. This will be the one that solidifies Liv.
Mm-hmm.
This will be the one that solidifies her as a champion and a legit fucking talent. And instead they go, nah, let's put the title back on Ronda, even though no one wants it.
Yeah, and without giving too much away, which I don't know why we would say this, because obviously everyone who's watching this or is listening to this has clearly seen.
Yeah, why are you watching this before watching Extreme Rules?
If we're spoiling this for you, then you need to just stop what you're doing and just go and watch the thing first. But I feel like they got the women's matches the wrong way round. The wrong way round.
Jonathan Ross.
Because essentially, this was the perfect match where, with it being Extreme Rules, Liv had all the advantages that she possibly could have to get the win over Ronda in a way that felt legit. And likewise, as we'll get onto in a bit with Bianca Belair, like, Bayley could have had all the advantages on a ladder match to grab the belt. We'll come to that. But yeah, I was massively disappointed. I feel like they've
shit the bed.
Yeah, they've shit the bed because Liv got a bit of a negative reaction, didn't she? When she, it's typical. I don't know why fans do it. Fans, they hate the good guy. They hate them. Like, they cheer them all the way up to a point you get success.
Like you work with WWE. Sometimes the fans, they cheer the ones they hate. And
no, but it's true. Like, if you think of everybody, like the Rock had to turn heel before he became phenomenal. Like, Roman, they fucking booed him, and now he went heel with Bloodline. Everyone loves him. You have to have that heel turn before people really warm to you for some reason.
Yeah, even even in recent years, you look at AJ Styles come in, his heel run with, like, on SmackDown was what sort of solidified him with the fans.
Yeah,
for WWE.
Yeah. So
you're right,
I feel like
you've got to have a heel run. It's more fun to be the heel. People love to hate you, and then they just love you.
It's mad though, isn't it? Like, you think people would get behind, the good guy, but clearly that's not.
It's a fascinating story, isn't it? Because I look at Kurt Angle, like, his most endearing chant even to this day is "You suck," and they say it with affection now. That's how weird the wrestling
fans are rather.
We're a strange fan base.
We're a strange bunch. But yeah, I was also very disappointed. I feel like this was an opportunity for Liv to get a victory over Ronda in a way that, didn't feel unrealistic, but also would have been essentially a clean win over Ronda Rousey, which would have been huge for her. But that didn't materialise, and Ronda was kind of playing the heel throughout this. Even at the end, like, on the way in, she was like rubbing her eyes, going boo-hoo to the fans, and then as she walked out, she was kind of like, rubbing it in people's faces and stuff. So
even on Twitter, she went on and be like I won't deal with it, Marks, something along that line. I'm paraphrasing because I don't know exactly what she said, but basically it was like, it's like almost playing the heel on socials as well. So
you've got to wonder.
Heel turn?
Well, you've got to wonder where they're going from here. I think the match that they want to set up, if it can happen, if she comes back in time, is going to be Ronda versus Becky. It's the match we never got because they put Charlotte in the way. But
naturally,
we also saw a video for Charlotte making a return at Extreme Rules. So is this the next feud? Do we get Ronda versus Charlotte again?
Oh no,
it's who knows, but
again, even that would have made more sense to me. You go, Liv managed to beat Ronda, which people were expecting her not to do, and then she has to go up against like the Queen, who's like, one of the best, one of the most popular, not even most popular, what do you call it? One of the most established women's wrestlers in WWE, and it's like, you beat Ronda, that's easy. I beat Ronda, like. You got to get through me, kind of thing. You'd be like, that sets itself up right there for a feud between them two. But no, they don't want to put the money in Liv, do they? They want to go, we're going to pull you away from the title. We're going to make you be a bit nuts, and we're probably going to just put you in some sort of gimmick that's not going to help you at all.
No, but I mean, that's fascinating in itself. What you just said then, like, obviously, when she was getting kind of choked out, I guess, is however the fuck she lost, she was smiling.
I mean, the women like that,
which is kind of weird. Anyway, but then we also saw a backstage interview segment where the interviewer found her and she was just on the floor, just still smirking. So they're clearly teasing some kind of.
It's like, maybe that's the story. Just Ronda broke her.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Like, I'm fascinated to see where they go with this. Is it going to be some kind of Wyatt Six connection? Is it going to be, just a new gimmick for her? Are we borderline on? Are we borderline on Alexa Bliss territory at this point. Like,
it's a bit of a rehash of Alexa's stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Alexa, she went to WWE mandated therapy, and she seems okay now. So maybe that's what Liv needs.
Maybe bring back what's it called, Doctor what's his face from Daniel Bryan and
do you know what? Like WWE visited this way more than you expect. But the best therapy ever was was it couples therapy in a way? Tag team therapy between Bryan and Kane was just fucking brilliant. I still, to this day, right, as much as like Glenn Jacobs was a bit of a tit, I still to this day love the group therapy session when he tells everyone about his life, all the way up to like his high school sweetheart Katie Vick, and you're like, oh my god. And honestly, everyone's faces in that scene is just fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got onto this, but it's one of the better things.
Top tier stuff. So let's hope Liv Morgan doesn't do the same. We find out some kind of weird thing.
Triple H will probably make an inappropriate skit of some sort. Yeah.
I'm sure he will. But yeah, so very disappointed. Probably the only match on the whole card where I was very disappointed.
Yeah, it was a really good pay-per-view overall, but this just wasn't it.
No, the match was fire as well, to be fair. Liv was great.
But the decision just ruined it for me.
And it was brutal. I'm guessing it was like a rubber bat or something, but she leathered the shit out of Liv with that baseball bat. Like, ridiculously. So
that was a real bat.
Oh, maybe that's why. Like, she's laughing right off. She's actually broken. So the next one, I don't think there was any shocks or surprises here.
Strap yourself in.
He's here all week, folks. But yeah, I don't think there's any massive surprise with this one. I think it played out exactly how we kind of thought. Well, actually, you had Drew winning, so it didn't play out how you thought. It played out exactly how I thought.
I did say though I was picking this out of hope.
Well, yeah, that's true. But we knew that Scarlett would potentially be involved in this in some way, and yeah, as you can imagine, I wasn't expecting pepper spray in the eyes, but you know, you get what you get.
I still I just don't understand. They try and I'm not saying this like I don't think he's an intimidating guy, because he can be, but the book and Karrion like he's an intimidating guy to Drew, who towers over him. And it's like Karrion, he needed Scarlett's help, which I'm fine with, but it's like, how can you suggest he's intimidating when he can't get a clean win over Drew, and Drew's massive compared to him? Well, he worked so much better on NXT.
He's going to throw water at him, wasn't he, and stuff, so that's pretty intimidating.
Well, in all fairness, like, he probably could have done with a bit of water after the pepper spray, so it's a shame he didn't throw water at him again.
It's just
Drew.
Long-term storytelling that. It's like going to go back now and say, do you see why I threw the water at you?
I was trying to... I knew she was going to do it. Just didn't know when. Trying to help you, man.
Yeah, so... one of them. There's not too much else to say about it, really. I think Karrion, obviously, this was his first proper match since he joined. He got a big win over a former world champion. Great things with him. But where does Drew go from here? You know, we talked about the vicious rumour that the European title might be on its way back. So it would make a lot of sense.
I think it'd be a good diversion for Drew for a little bit. They're not putting him in title scene anytime soon. So, again, inaugural European champion. Bit of a tour in Europe. Why not?
Well, exactly. And I believe that they're going to do it as part of some kind of tournament bracket style as well, so it'll keep him busy for a good number. So, yeah, I hope it happens very much so, but I think that's where I would like Drew to go next. In terms of Karrion, did he get involved with the Wide Six? Is he one of the Wide Six? Is Scarlett Abby? Karrion the Rabbit?
I know it's fun when you play the rumours game and everyone's like, oh, you know, the White Rabbit connection to... But they're their own thing, and I think they're perfectly fine being their own thing. And again, I feel like I've been quite negative about Karrion over the last few weeks, but the pairing of him and Drew just doesn't work for me. And it hasn't sort of helped him as a character. But I really enjoyed Karrion and Scarlett, and we often said, both of us have often said that as a pair, that's how they need to be.
Yeah.
She is a fantastic hype woman for him, and he did great on NXT. And I look forward to whatever he goes into, but for me, I'm like, all due respect to him right now, especially, you know, we don't want him involved in the Wyatt stuff or the Bloodline. What I want to do is have him, like, depending on what happens with the whole Sheamus Gunther thing, have him in the IC title scene.
Yeah, that's a good shout, that, to be fair. I think you'd have to... Would you? You'd probably have to have Sheamus win the belt, and then for whatever reason Gunther not go after it, but Karrion to go after it instead. I think that would be a nice way to... It's mad because there's so many moving parts. I think it doesn't help things that Roman is, you know, holding both titles at the minute.
Yeah,
makes it very difficult to kind of think.
I mean, in a way, I agree. But if we're introducing the European title and it's going to be on the main show for a while, we've got the European, the US, and the IC. There's no reason you have to worry too much about the main title, as it were.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on the mid card that you could entertain that for a while.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I think, I can't see, unless it is the IC title, where he pivots to from here. Then obviously you've got the likes of Cody coming back, and you've got Kevin Owens and people like that, Seth Rollins, all trying to be in the main event scenes. But
it's annoying when you got just so much talent.
So much talent. So the next one is the other women's match on the card. We have Bianca Belair taking on Bayley in a ladder match, and the match itself was really good. Like, it's one of them. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna have to be that guy. It's like, at this point, is anyone massively super excited about Bianca Belair? Don't get me wrong, she is phenomenal. She's got such strength and such, like, these kind of matches that, you know, she can really showcase her abilities are wonderful. But I don't feel like there's enough to her. I feel like we say this all the time. It's just, she's got the EST thing. That's it. She comes out and it's the same thing. It's getting a bit dull.
This is why, in some ways, like, I've likened this to John Cena before, and I'll do it again in terms of, like, it's a gimmick that works and is over and sort of sells merch, so they're sticking with it. You know, and it's similar to with John Cena, you know, and all the chain gang stuff, and then all the, like, never give up and believe in yourself and all the stuff he did for it. Like, it was his typical shtick for so long because it worked, and I feel like WWE would be frightened to make any significant changes to it because it is over, especially with the younger audience, which they still want to capture.
Yeah.
That being said, I think it should have been Bayley. Like you said, they got the women's scene backwards in this pay-per-view, unfortunately.
Yeah. It just made so much sense. Like, you know, Bianca could have still looked super strong in this. Like, Damage Control could have literally held her under a ladder.
Yeah.
So she can't do it. And, you know, they have the thing where she gets
didn't lose clean.
Yeah. It just would have been so straightforward to do, and a great way to get the title off her.
I'll be honest, like, we've come in Damage Control, like, this, you know, she's come back and she's brought these two with her. Like, they're gonna, you know, clean house. They're gonna tear it up, and then it three of them, and they couldn't beat Bianca. It kind of just negates them at this point.
Yeah.
Like, don't be wrong, I'm not saying, well, that's it, done, fucked. They might as well just disband the faction. They can obviously go forward with this, and it won't be too damaging. But, you know, when you go, well, the momentum kind of stopped here, didn't it? When you go, well, there's three of them there. They should have easily dominated that.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have been massively unfair, but that's the point, isn't it? They're the heels. It's just a shame they haven't executed it that way. But,
and I think as well, I've just realised that when I was talking before about Elias' injury, that I clearly don't pay enough attention, because I'm pretty sure Damage Control actually do have the women's tag titles at the minute. So
we're just so used to them now.
This is true. So again, it would have been like another, like, almost like Bloodline-esque if all of Damage Control are holding the gold. But yeah, I legit don't know where they go from here, unless they're going to bring back Charlotte to go up against Bianca. Is that the goal? if you think you've got to kind of put me, you know, what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to look into my crystal ball to look at WrestleMania and see where are they trying to build to with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you can see obviously murmurs of The Rock and Roman, for example, and, you know, you can see a lot of other stuff that is getting banded about, but like Bianca and like Becky and, like, words. Who's the other one? We just talked about. No,
Ronda.
Yeah, Ronda and Becky. So, you know, where does Bianca go? And it's like, well, Charlotte is coming back. Is that the route to go down? So yeah, but shame for Bayley, because obviously she's just come back. She's got a super cool faction, and now where do they go next? Unless they run this back at Crown Jewel, maybe.
Maybe that's what they're doing, because you can't always go, well, it's a title match, but it's at Crown Jewel, so they're probably not going to win. Like, gives you an opportunity. It's like, well, we'll delay it, and she can get the win at Crown Jewel, so, you know, you never know. I don't know, but for me, this was like you say, I think you put it best last week. The obvious way of booking this so that it doesn't harm Bianca is get screwed over. The best way to do it is on a ladder match.
Yeah,
there's no pin.
No, it would have made the most sense.
Yeah.
And something else we called last week as well was around the Edge Finn Balor match, where we knew there's no way Edge would say I quit under any normal circumstances.
That's true. I don't know how you feel. I'll put my my thoughts out there straight away. I really like the way they executed it.
Yeah, it was genius, wasn't it? Because essentially they had to give him some major stakes that would, ultimately make him say those words to lose the match. But at the same time, obviously Rhea Ripley still decides to give her a concerto to the head anyway. So now Edge kind of comes off looking a bit like the fool. But,
and you know what? Like, the thing is, I thought they were going to do this in such a cheesy way that it'd be like, it's just his determination and his grit. We're going to stop him from saying, I quit. I thought that's how they're going to do it. It's like, I'm never going to say it, but we got it in a less cheesy way. I mean, you could argue it's still like kind of soap opera-ish, but this is a soap opera for men, so we can do. I really liked the whole Beth thing, and I honestly, as much as it was like you could tell what was going to happen, and like you say, the Edge is a fool in a way. I really like the fact that she went ahead with it anyway. That's a classic heel move, isn't it?
Yeah, massively.
And honestly, I think this is finally a way that the Edge might have some time off now, but without his poor neck again. Yeah. It's like, I was kind of getting sick of them injuring him every 5 minutes. This is a way of him being off TV because they've injured Beth this time. It's always injury related, but I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised by this. You kind of knew where it was going to go, but I love the way that they executed it. Just so much more not believable, but you know what I mean. Like, better than I was thinking it was going to be.
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting one though, isn't it? Because obviously the Judgment Day seems to have moved on into a feud with AJ in the OC or whatever.
Apparently so.
So, but surely Edge is going to want to get some kind of level of revenge, and I'm guessing Beth Phoenix is going to want to go against Rhea Ripley at some point. So what do we do? Is there some kind of war games potential here? AJ in the OC and Edge and
the EOC
versus Judgment Day and another member. Don't know who the other member could be, but
I know I'm a bit perplexed how it's going to go. But like you said, but I kind of, as much as it'd be shit because you'd want revenge, like we've had a lot of Edge in Judgment Day. I feel like we need to move away from that for a little bit.
Yeah. It's weird because it doesn't feel over, does it? Because it's like...
Oh, it definitely don't feel over.
If Edge is just going to be like, right, well, I'm off for a bit, and then comes back to, Metalingus again, just forgetting that...
He's like, no, I'm not going to mess with them again. They made their point.
Yeah, okay, they win. I really do quit when it comes to...
Quite refreshing for the rest of them. Okay, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah. You've also got the Rey Mysterio thing with that. I heard a weird rumour that Rey Mysterio is going to end up getting traded to SmackDown. Because he doesn't want to fight his son. Like, that's the reason he's going to request a trade or something to split them two up so they don't have to have a match.
Doesn't make sense, does it? Like, my son's been taken in by a cult. The best thing I can do is stay way the fuck away from that problem.
Just let him do his thing.
I'll go and do my own thing.
Okay, Dad.
Luck, Dom.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I feel like there's a lot of little threads happening at the minute. You've got obviously Judgment Day and AJ in the OC, Judgment Day and Edge and Beth Phoenix, Dominic and Ray.
Maybe Ray gets it. Maybe he's there looking at Ray going, yeah, okay. Let Dom have his fun. I'm not going to argue with it. He's not going to argue with it.
Yeah. Who knows? But anywho, so
he's got like a big fandom at the minute, hasn't he, for like being his pappy.
Yeah.
Or,
Happy as Pappy or his mammy or whatever.
Yeah, but so many people. TikTok has been the funniest because so many people just simping right now. I'm like, I quite like it. It's quite fun.
Are you one of the ones simping? Is that why?
I didn't say that.
You didn't say shit. Which led us on to the main event of the night, which was the Fight Pit match between Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle with Daniel Cormier as special referee.
This was pretty much exactly as I thought it should be. I think we both predicted this one right, and it just makes sense. Riddle needed the win. But on top of this is his match.
Yeah. How did you feel about the actual fight itself? Now, I know that you haven't had many of these, but it kind of...
I didn't like it as much as the NXT one, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I didn't.
It was just a steel cage, really.
Yeah, and it was like they had LEDs all over it and stuff, and it was like, more screens, more lights.
Everywhere.
Just let it be a cage.
I don't know, the NXT one just seemed like a bit better. Enjoyed it more.
Yeah, it felt a bit grittier, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, this was almost over. How'd you overproduce a cell?
Well, exactly. So, I don't know, it was just kind of weird because it kind of just almost felt like a glorified...
Am I misremembering this, by the way? Because Cormier was in the cell with them, in the pit. Am I misremembering this? Because I could swear that Kurt Angle wasn't in it.
You said that to me last time, didn't you say he was on the balcony or something?
Yeah, they had like an edge around the top. and Kurt was on the... And I feel like that's what happened. And, you know, when you're like, have I misremembered that? Have I just made that up?
Anthony Googles things.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stay professional on air and just guess.
Yeah, we'll fact check ourselves after the fact. But yeah, I don't think they could have done it any better in terms of the actual execution of it all. Like, it made sense to be a submission. Made sense for Riddle to get the win. I think Daniel Cormier did a good job, considering he's never really refereed or anything like that before. All in all,
yeah, he did a good job wearing a stripy shirt.
Yes, basically.
I kid, there's a lot more to referee. I feel like we're going to get a bit of grief for that.
I mean, we're saying, we're going to say hopefully this is the end of it now, but I like that Seth seems to have instantly moved on, gone to the US title picture, and hopefully this is them two done for a little bit at least.
Yeah, there's only so many rematches you can have. I feel like this book ended it nicely. Riddle needed to get the win over on him on this, and he's basically fought him in his match, hasn't he?
Yeah,
this has become a Riddle thing.
Well, exactly. It's like Taker had Hell in a Cell and casket matches, and he had a lot of matches, to be fair, boneyard matches.
Right.
There's a lot of his own matches, but yeah. It's very much Matt Riddle match, isn't it? So that was the main event of the pay-per-view, and just as Riddle and Daniel Cormier were walking down the ramp and we had the little Extreme Rules ending logo thing come up, lights went out.
What?
And
why?
He's got the whole world in his hand. Bray Wyatt, baby.
Executed
the White Rabbit.
Perfection. This is all I wanted. You reveal who it is, let people lose their shit, and then nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I mentioned before on the other segment, sorry guys, the nods to Brody Lee, which I hope were deliberate. There's people pointing them out, but the way they revealed Bray was very similar to the reveal of the Exalted one.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they made that nod. Mm-hmm. And I didn't notice this one at first, but someone pointed out that one of the characters,
Abigail's mask,
had it was actually what looked very much like Brody's mask when he was
Bludgeon Brothers.
I was going to say it wasn't part of the Wyatt family, but it was Bludgeon Brothers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That bone sort of mask.
Yeah, and it looks identical, to be fair.
Yeah,
so
and I like those little nods because they were obviously very, very close, and you like to think, without that tragedy, he'd have been part of all this, So I love that they're paying homage to him.
Yeah, massively. I mean, if you know Bray like we know Bray. It is. That's us with Bray. But if you know Bray like we know Bray, he's very meticulous in what he does, and everything's very, very well thought out. Yeah. And obviously, they brought in the former Marvel writer as well to help with a lot of this stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that you're seeing these kind of little Easter eggs and throwbacks and stuff.
And you love a good mystery as well, so you were all over this.
So yeah, I was fascinated by all this kind of stuff. I like that it's kind of continued as well on Raw with even more QR codes after the fact. But yeah, so we had him singing "You Got the Whole World in his hands," which was cool. We then got the door, and obviously he came out with the lantern, but he came out with a new mask. And
what do you make of the new mask?
I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not. It's no Fiend mask, I'll be honest. I get he's going for an entirely different theme there. Like, it wasn't meant to be anything like the Fiend mask.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't overly big on it. I don't know how much it's going to feature, because a lot of this was heavily like almost original. I think it's clear that this isn't going to be going right back to the original Bray, but this was very much the Eater Worlds, wasn't it? In terms of like the lantern and even the colouring and stuff like that. It wasn't fiendish, it was
no. I feel like they're trying to do some kind of blend of both characters almost. It's like the original Bray was just had no mask or anything like that. The Fiend wrestled in the mask, so maybe this is going to be he comes down in this mask and takes it off. And but I don't know, it's kind of like a Japanese Oni kind of
it kind of reminded me of the Oni mask,
but with a bit of a sadistic twist on it. So,
but again, like you say, everything that Bray does is kind of well thought out and deliberate. So I've got to wonder what connection that has.
Yeah,
I assume there's going to be some relevance to that, and hopefully we get to see more of it. But again, we love a good mystery, so getting to learn more about what's going on or what his plans are, whether it's a faction, so much to work out.
You know what I was surprised about? He didn't actually play White Rabbit. So in all the teasers and everything, like I expected him to come out to White Rabbit if it was going to happen.
Do you think he is going to get a change in theme?
I don't know. He kind of used the old one, didn't he? A little bit, even with like where he blew the lantern out and it was like, or whatever the fuck it is, that weird like.
What was it?
I assume someone just like filmed him having like a hiccup or something.
Like, wait a minute, it's fantastic.
Let's do that again. So yeah, the mask I wasn't a massive fan of, but I was a massive fan of these. Now, obviously, when he was doing the kind of you got the whole world in your hands thing, every now and again it would spotlight various characters within the audience, and if you count them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus Bray makes 6. So I didn't know.
Like I'm on Sesame Street right now.
I'm trying to. Who gonna do? Count.
7 Wyatts.
There you go. That's what I wanted to do. Would have been better than what I would have done. But yeah. So this was fascinating. But this is where I'm also a bit dubious about Bray's mask. Is he doesn't really fit the aesthetic, and I understand why this aesthetic is like this because it's the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah.
Come to life.
I think though, this is just to further the mystery, isn't it? Once we reveal who these characters are, because I assume that's where they're going. I don't think this is going to be the end aesthetic.
Yeah,
this is the connection, and then we reveal maybe one at a time. We reveal who they are, and then at that point they don't like Huskus the Pig Boy isn't going to carry on being Huskus the Pig Boy. You know what I mean?
Well, it's so. Do you think then that the people that were dressed up like this are the people? Or do you think they were stand-ins?
See, I think it's a combination.
Okay.
Right, I'm looking at Mercy the Buzzard over there, and I'm going, you know what? Size, and from what you can see of physique, you go, maybe that is a legit wrestler under there. Obviously, some of the costumes you really can't tell. Like Huskus the Pig Boy, that is an entirely formed suit by the looks of it. So you go, well, that could be a stand-in. I don't know, but I feel like there may be a mixture of both in there, where they haven't quite decided yet, or the person wasn't available. But I feel like some of the legit characters are there.
It's fascinating though, isn't it? Because you've got to think, and I love that as an idea that they're not just going to be these characters. That it's just going to be like using these as the stand-ins till the reveal. The one eventually, like Huskus will take a mask off and it'll be, oh my god, it's so and so.
Oh my god, it's like Joe Gacy because we've all guessed it's Joe Gacy. So
well, yeah, I like the idea of them doing it kind of like that though, where it's like a little reveal every like little and often as opposed to like all at once. So, but yeah, I've no idea.
What do you think of the concept of like people have been guessing at this for weeks and they've been saying, well, the guy in the Fiend mask is Bo, the is it?
They love saying this. But remember, the people were saying, "Oh, that's definitely Bo."
I was when they burnt him and they weren't showing you his upper arms and stuff like that with that attire. I was like, that's Bo. Someone's filling in for Bray there. That's not Bray. But then people are saying like, oh, Mercy the Buzzards, that's Grayson Waller. Joe Gacy's the pig. I can't remember who they guessed for the rabbit, but there's so many people guessing different things, and you go, well, what's your making of any of these?
One of the grizzled, was it one of the? Or was it what's his face? That having a brain fart. Someone put on Twitter like a symbol and kind of teased it was them. But I thought it might be one of the grizzled young vets, but it might be in the other person you said that wasn't Joe Gacy.
Grayson Waller.
Yeah, it's Grayson Waller.
Yeah.
Did he tweet like a picture of an eagle or something?
I'm not too. I think that's kind of what started the suggestion, but so many people were guessing that Mercy the Buzzard is Grayson.
Right.
So that may be where it stemmed from, to be fair.
Okay.
But the only one, and I know people have made guesses at it, but I can't remember any of the guesses for Abby.
No.
But it's funny because since these characters have rocked up, I've seen less and less of people going, so it's Karrion and Scarlett, and then Bo, and so like Bo seems to be the only one that's stuck. But all the guesses people were guessing originally, like these really high profile, already on the roster people, they've gone out the window now.
Do you think that's going to be better if it's not?
I think this is a perfect vehicle for bringing new stars in, like
kind of like Nexus.
This is what kind of bugs me. It's like, why bring in why pull established wrestlers away from what they're doing to be part of this when there's a whole load of talent there that can be used. Yeah. And the only one I'm massively against is Joe Gacy, and that is just because I feel like he's already doing his own thing and it's working, and it's kind of Bray Wyatt-esque, and it doesn't make, because of seeing him on NXT and seeing what he's been doing, it kind of doesn't make sense that he would be part of Bray's faction.
No.
And you can say that about any wrestlers if you follow the earlier careers, but I don't know, for me the Joe Gacy one doesn't work. I don't think he should be part of the faction. I think he should just carry on doing his thing. But I don't know a great deal about Grayson Waller. Might be a good shout. I'd be all for Braun being part of it again.
Yeah, that's it. I think the one thing we can definitely agree on is it's continued to create intrigue. Like I think there's a new podcast. I can't remember what for the life of me what they're called, but we just followed them on Instagram, and they posted something up just saying like, because they've I think one of them's from the UK and one of them's from America, and they kind of both do it. They've somehow formed a friendship. But the girl who's from the UK said something like,
I remember the podcast. I can't remember the name, but I'm gonna have
to stay up now tonight to watch Raw. Do you know what I mean? And I think I commented saying if we went old as shit, we'd be doing the same, because I was really interested to see it. I was a little disappointed that all we got was kind of a recap on Bray.
I must admit, I was expecting
a little tiny video, but
yeah.
I thought we might see him. But if he's going to SmackDown, that does make sense. Like, we didn't get any answers on Liv either.
SmackDown.
So it's kind of one of them. But now I'm super excited to see SmackDown, because I know Bray's going to be there, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Liv for this new gimmick. So they're doing great. They're creating must-see TV, which is mad when you think not that long ago it was so skippable.
This shows you how easily and quickly this can turn.
Yeah, and I don't want to shit on Vince McMahon when I say this either. It's not like Triple H has come in, he's a miracle. Well, you know what I mean?
I still hark back to Devon's analogy. Like, it's fresh and exciting. It doesn't take away from the legacy Vince has got. It's fresh and exciting, and we're super intrigued what's going to come of it all. You know, doesn't change that Vince was he changed the business. You know what I mean? But
it's not even that. It's like people seem to think, oh, he changed the business years ago, and then he's been shit ever since. Like, he's created some amazing moments super recently. That was all Vince. You know what I mean? It's like people are very kind of short memory spans when they think of Vince. They think he was revolutionised the business and then was shit for years, and it's not the case. I'm not saying
Triple H is risk averse when I say this, but the thing with Vince, he wasn't afraid to take a risk. Like, and there've been many times we saw that not pan out, and you go, "Oh, that was shit," but can't blame him for trying.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, look at like Austin Theory. Some people love him, some people hate him. But he was willing to push that kid to the moon.
Yeah.
And you go, that was a risk. That was a risk he took, and it seems that they're backing away from that.
Yeah.
But it's still...
Which I disagree with, to be fair. I think that kid's a star.
I'm totally fine
I think he's an absolute star. So we'll see what they do with that. But it's like Triple H is going to run out of people to bring back. It's the same AEW problem. Where it's
funny that we don't hear the same comments there, but it is the same AEW problem.
They were like, oh, all it is just bringing back ex-WWE talent every week. It's boring. That's what Triple H is doing now.
Yeah. But when you're WWE and you bring back ex-WWE talent, it's fine.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. So, yeah.
I mean, Punk might be looking for somewhere soon.
Yeah, I don't even think there's no chance of that. But, yeah, definitely fascinating, to say the least. And all in all, I think it was a good pay-per-view. Genuinely
really enjoyable.
My expectations. I think it makes a massive difference when on Extreme Rules you have all matches that have extreme elements to them.
Yeah, that really bugged you. Bugged you for literally years at this point. So I'm glad that it's come back to
finally
an Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
That's it.
That'd be like having a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view with no Hell in a Cell.
Well, exactly.
Except I don't think a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view should exist at all.
Oh yeah,
but there you go.
We both agree on that. But yeah, so all in all, a really good pay-per-view, I think, and it's created a lot of buzz, excitement, and I'm very much looking forward to what's next. On the road to Crown Jewel now.
Yeah.
So until next week. Oh, hang on, we can't go. We haven't talked about our wonderful beers.
What are you drinking there, Carl?
Oh, well, this right here is just a little something from our...
You're going to go into some sort of... acclaimed sort of rap then.
Yo,
this right here is a top rope beer. Sorry.
I'm drinking Top Rope, and it's called the Big Rig. I'm gonna drink it and make me do a jig. Okay, I
like it. I thought you were gonna go with Swig, but yeah.
Ah, see, that would be better. See, this is why you should battle Max.
But away from rap battles. This week we've got, and you'll know from Top Rope Tuesdays if you follow us on social media, but this week we've got the Big Rig. This is a beer based on FTR.
Living Legends.
And obviously we've got the lovely match pairing that you got in every can right there.
We always do this. It's this one.
Right.
There's so many cameras.
And the match pairing for this particular beer is FTR versus the Briscoes at Supercard of Honor. And you know what? I feel like I say this every week. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but so far, every single one of these beers has been an absolute banger, and this one is no different. I mentioned previously, when you poured it before, Carl, you could smell that sort of tropical fruit sort of smell out of it.
Tropical.
But it's so... This is
like it was in the Bahamas.
I'll make the same reference I did before. This is very much like a summer barbecue. Get a nice cold beer out. Very refreshing. You know, fruity, but not too fruity. A lovely, lovely drink.
Delicious.
And thoroughly enjoyed. And where can you get them, Carl?
You can get them from topropebrewing.com, and you can use the promo code A2theK10 for 10% off. Now, they are recently making some improvements to their website ahead of their 6th birthday. They're going to be releasing...
6 years, man.
6? A top rope, the white too. They're going to be releasing 6 new flavours to celebrate that, so keep an eye out on their site, and when they're up, make sure you use A2theK10 at topropebrewing.com and save yourself 10%. And as you always say, if you're going to save 10%, you may as well buy shitloads.
That's true.
Think of the saving. So yeah, make sure you go there. Obviously, Pro Wrestling TV, if you're watching us on there, thank you very much. We're very very happy, very honoured to be part of a very esteemed lineup of shows on Pro Wrestling TV, including MLW, who've just signed.
Yeah.
With Pro Wrestling TV.
So they'll be starting on Pro Wrestling TV as of November.
Yes.
And we're very proud to be amongst the ranks of not only epic wrestling shows like MLW, like TNT, like Warrior Wrestling, Women's Wrestling Army, but there's also other fantastic talk shows on there. You've got the Don Tony Show, you've got Off the Script, Bell to Bells.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of
loads of different awesome stuff going on. You can also watch us.
The most awesome of all, obviously.
Well, obviously. So if you watch us on YouTube, we do appreciate that also, but also check out Pro Wrestling TV because it's free. So
24/7.
And there's loads of cool content on there. And also, if you fancy, you can't quite get this old school retro t-shirt, but you can get some of our merch available at Pro Wrestling Tees, so make sure you go there and get some stuff. And until next time, we will say goodbye.